Okay, well, obviously spent a lot of time on your stage act. It's a pretty dynamic stage act. Alex, can you tell us a little bit about how that developed?
By playing 5 hours a night, 5 days a week at different bars and clubs, sweating it out and so-called paying your dues.
Yeah.
We used to play about 5 hours of really hard, grinding rock and roll. No slow songs at all. And it just it carried on over to our original music.
Now, Michael, music's always changing. You know, in some cases, it looked as if rock and roll and that grinding stuff was sort of going to be sort of perhaps sort of fall back, and then there was a new wave and that. And yet, the hard grinding rock and roll has really come out in the last, say, 6 or 7 months. I mean, did it worry you as a group that with all this changing going on?
Oh no, it's, you know, everybody's got it, a little of it, you know, in themselves, and it's, you know, we just, that's how we feel. You know.
For the 80s, 60s are over, so are the 70s. We're the new thing.
We came out of this music 3 weeks out of high school graduation. The Van Halens, their father and their mom said, "You're moving out." Okay, they had jobs set up for them at the airport. No shit, as baggage handlers. Oof. Okay.
Were they supportive of your music career all along?
My father, yes, but my mother, no. Because that's the reason my mom wanted us over here. and out of Holland just because she was afraid we'd get into music. My dad, if you sat and talked to him, man, he'd make you roll over and laugh. I mean, he's just like me now. He's 16 years old.
Yeah.
His whole life has been music.
Mm-hmm.
I had been tossed out of my house by Mom, mostly halfway through high school. I was a troublesome kid, okay? I was in and out of the busing program. It was a wild and colorful time, all right? This is the 60s, you follow? And there was constant conflict in terms of where the Van Halens went to school, for example. That's Pasadena High School. It was 90% Caucasian, we'll call it, and other. I went to the schools that were all black and Spanish speaking. It's like the balance that made our music colorful. My moniker, Diamond Dave, comes from when I would go over to the Van Halen side. That's like Ridgemont High. I went to like Cooley High. All right. And their music was all Led Zeppelin, Stones, The Who, Sabbath, like this. And starting at the 7th grade youth club dance for me, that was all Motown, which, you know, later my record collection was everything from Rick James and, you know, the funk. I took Eddie Van Halen to his first black concert at the Forum. I think it was the only one that he ever went to. It was Earth, Wind & Fire.
You know, you're born with a clean slate, and life is what you make it. And if anybody deserves credit for doing anything, it's the brothers, Alex and Edward, who many people don't know actually started off playing on each other's instrument. Originally, right. Alex was the guitar player. Edward was the drummer. And imagine the talent in that family that they switched. And Edward actually was an accomplished keyboard player. The jump keyboards and stuff, that's Edward.
And you all went to school or something like that?
Yeah, well, we were all going to different schools and living in generally the same area of California. None of us are from California. That's how come we don't sound like the Eagles. Yeah.
So when you joined the band, they were already playing guitars? Yeah. I think they had just started there recently. In fact, Edward had me, one of their last shows, they knew that they were playing, Edward had me come out there, and I listened to them and I watched their show to see what they were doing, and it was really challenging for the first few months because they had a real big repertoire of songs, and so they weren't into rehearsing for a few months and not playing anywhere before getting back onto it. So it's like almost every rehearsal I was learning at least 3 or 4 songs a rehearsal every day, so.
What kinds of tunes were they playing?
Whatever was out at the time. A little bit of ZZ Top, a little Grand Funk. I can't really recall the stuff that they were doing at the time, the top 40 stuff. But it was like,
what original stuff were they doing? Or when did they start? When did you start?
No, they had original stuff. I had heard a demo that Edward gave me of 4 songs that they were doing originally. One was called which turned out to be Whiskey, Take Your Whiskey Home. Another one that was She's the Woman, which the solo part of that ended up as a solo in Mean Streets. Simple Rhyme was one that they were doing. And
you guys were doing You Really Got Me.
Well, we weren't doing that till after I was in the band, till a while after I was in the band. I see. We did You Really Got Me, and we also did All Day and All the Night.
We just wanted to get discovered, and LA is a good place to do it. There's a lot of music, a lot of rock bands, a lot of everything going on in Los Angeles.
And for those of you that want to hear what I did when I produced the 15 songs that went into the demo, recorded Electric Lady, you know, it's out there. And I would say that there's some material on there that's better than anything that's been on Van Halen records.
How did you finally get a recording contract and break through into the big time?
We got discovered. The president of Warner Brothers came down and saw us playing in a bar one night. We were playing for free, and he came with our producer Ted Templeman, who else does he produce? Oh, a variety of artists.
Doobie Brothers, Little Feat.
Right.
And they said, we want to sign you.
Is it hard to break through, like for any group that just forms?
Not if you're good.
No. Good one, Edwin.
You gotta have faith in yourself, you know. It's
You gotta
hard.
keep at it. A lot of people get together, you know, and they change members every other week. You know, they go, oh, who are they this time, you know?
Right.
You gotta stick together and just keep working.
I stood and looked down. You know I lost a lot of friends there, baby. I got no time to mess around. So if you want it, got to bleed, boy, baby. Yeah, got to bleed, baby. You got to bleed, baby. Got to bleed, baby. Ain't talking about love. The love is running to the core. Ain't talking about love. Just like I told you before. Ain't talking about love. Don't wanna talk about love. Don't need to talk about love. Ain't gonna talk about love. No more, no more. Hey, hey, hey. 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 Hey, hey, hey.
Hey everybody, welcome to my brand new album deep dive series. I'm going to be tackling the catalog, the discography of the mighty Van Halen, starting with their debut, their self-titled debut album. What a game changer. What a monolithic record this was. I can't even imagine buying this when it hit the stores and having your mind blown. And it's hard to put it into context because we can't go back in time and try to relive what that was like. We've had all the music that has since come after this record, but if you can just imagine putting the needle down and hearing both sides of this magnificent album, nothing has sounded like it before or since, Van Halen was just a juggernaut, an incredible band. You had the virtuoso guitar playing of Eddie Van Halen. You had the over-the-top, the in-your-face, uninhibited, unhinged personality and vocals of frontman David Lee Roth. You had that fantastic rhythm section of Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen, and it all came together. It was all distilled perfectly in this incredible, incredible album. Now, the cover photos were taken at the Whiskey A Go-Go, where Van Halen often performed during the mid-1970s. Now, the core of Van Halen, Eddie and Alex Van Halen, formed their first band, the Broken Combs, in 1964, playing backyard parties and local high school functions. They changed their name first to the Trojan Rubber Company, then in 1972 to Genesis, then to Mammoth when they discovered Genesis was already in use by the British prog band. They rented a sound system from David Lee Roth for $10 per night. Roth was singing in a local R&B influenced rock band, the Red Ball Jets, and partly to save money, they invited Roth to join as their lead vocalist, so they no longer had to pay him to use his equipment. Their friend Mark Stone was recruited at that stage to play bass. In 1973, they officially changed their name to Van Halen at Roth's suggestion to capitalize on what he considered to be the marketing opportunities of the brothers' name. They continue to play clubs, festivals, backyard parties, and city parks in the Pasadena, San Bernardino, and Venice area, drawing up to 2,000 people. By the mid-70s, they had graduated to clubs in Los Angeles and West Hollywood, increasing their audience through self-promotion, passing out flyers at local high schools. In 1974, they decided to replace Stone with Eddie's college classmate, Michael Anthony Sobolewski, after an all-night jam session. The band got a major break when it was hired to play regular gigs at a club on the Sunset Strip. By 1975, they were playing shows at the Whiskey A Go-Go, where they eventually caught the attention of Gene Simmons, who produced a 29-track demo of the band at Village Recorder Studios in Los Angeles. Simmons was unable to secure the band a record deal. However, Warner Brothers label head Mo Austin and producer Ted Templeman, who was looking for a Guitar Hero act, caught the band at the Starwood Club in Hollywood on their opening night there. Warner Brothers executives wrote up a letter of intent on a cocktail napkin, and the band was signed to a 2-record deal, and yes, the rest is history. So let's dive into this incredible album. Of course, it opens up with Runnin' with the Devil, which they were big Black Sabbath fans, and I don't know this with any certainty. I'm just speculating that the devil in the title was in some ways a nod to one of their favorite bands, Black Sabbath. But nonetheless, this was probably the first Van Halen song I ever heard. It was played back on the radio in the late 70s. And I love how it starts off with that kind of drone at the beginning, right into that thumping guitar and bass. Then you have that tinkling of the guitar string straight into what is just a kick-ass rock song. Great single. The first major Van Halen statement on record, but it is still a beast of a song. And yeah, if we're going to play this song, okay, let's just get this out of the way. Everybody's heard it. Whoa! Whoa! It's still fun to listen to. I don't know how many times I've heard it. But anyway, yeah, Runnin' with the Devil is just crazy. And it's got all the elements that made Van Halen great. You have David Lee Roth, who has so much confidence. He's so cocky. He's so self-assured, and he is letting loose on the vocals on this song. And then you've got Eddie Van Halen, who is just going ape shit on the guitar. Again, you've got that incredible rhythm section, Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen holding it all together. It just works perfectly. And some of the impact of this song certainly has been muted over time just because we've heard so much, again, that has since been released, but still, An incredible song. And then the next song is a guitar solo. And I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, who puts a freaking guitar solo, number one, on your debut album, but the second track on the album is a guitar solo? Not even Jimmy Page did that shit. Jimmy Page never had an entire song that was just a shredding guitar solo. That just shows you how much confidence Eddie Van Halen had at this stage, that the second track on the album is going to be a shredding guitar solo. But holy smokes, this solidified Eddie Van Halen as a guitar god. That finger tapping style that blew so many minds back in the day still sounds as fresh. You listen to that today, it sounds as fresh as it did back in 1978 when it was blowing all the potheads' minds. And then straight into a cover song. But damn it, this is one of the cover songs that Van Halen made their own. After this album came out, after people heard this song, after Van Halen recorded this song, it was no longer a Kinks song. You Really Got Me belonged to Van Halen. I know the Kinks wrote it, Ray Davies wrote it, but Van Halen absolutely stole this song from the Kinks and made it their own. It is just great. That guitar riff sounds like Eddie wrote it.
Don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Please don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing, yeah. Oh yeah, you really got me now. Got me so I can see that night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me.
And from then on, the Kinks would be irrelevant. Well, not really, just kidding. Then we have Ain't Talking About Love, which shows Eddie I can write a song just as great as Ray Davies. Ain't Talking About Love is a standout track in here. This killer guitar riff, everything about it. I love towards the end where it kind of gets real quiet. David Lee Roth's vocals are so by turns seductive and menacing. I love the background vocals. This song is just a beast. The last track on side one is I'm the One. I love, again, the background vocals on this song. You just didn't have songs that were this heavy with background vocals that were so melodic and harmonic. I love the chorus on here, the background vocals, again, the self-assured, cocky vocals of David Lee Roth. A great way to bring to a close side one. Side two opens up with another Van Halen staple, Jamie's Crying, another great guitar riff. Again, Tone Loc did rip it off for his song Wild Thing, but nonetheless, not my favorite Van Halen song by any stretch, but a great way to open up side two, a catchy, melodic, hard rock pop song. The next track is Atomic Punk, which I wouldn't The next track is Atomic Punk, and I wouldn't necessarily call this a punk song. It's more got the punk attitude about it. Yeah, it's a high energy. Yeah, it is a killer track. Very heavy song, very cool. Atomic Punk is just a punch in the face. The next song, Feel Your Love Tonight, it's cool. Again, it's them it's kind of like a classic rock song. I don't know that I call this heavy metal. It's a bit of hard rock, but more kind of in a classic rock vein. Very catchy chorus, very catchy melody. Not one of my favorites on this record, but a very decent effort by Van Halen. Next track, Little Dreamer, again with those vocal harmonies and the woo, just sells the song for me. A fantastic David Lee Roth vocal.
About your cold when you walk, heading for the skies. But you were young and bold, and baby, didn't that change with a wink of your eye? Now no one's talking about those crazy days gone by. No one talks about the times you cried. A little dreamer, likely to succeed. I had to tell them, baby, you were armed with all you need. Seems no one's talking about those crazy days gone past. Weren't they amazed when you were pitiless? You are the little dreamer.
I know some people don't care for Little Dreamer, but I absolutely love it. It is so catchy. It's an earworm. It kicks ass. I love Little Dreamer. Then Ice Cream Man. I love the acoustic guitar playing at the beginning. Very bluesy, very funky in spots. Ice Cream Man is just a rollicking, great blues song.
Dedicate one to the ladies. Sometimes a babe needs something to keep you cool. Now sometimes a babe needs something to keep you cool. Better look out now though, Dave's got something for you. Tell you what it is. I'm your ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. On my mind, I'm your ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. See now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. Hold on a second, baby. I gotta put my banana in Dixie cups. All flavors and push-ups too. I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by. See now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. Hold on one more. Well, I'm usually passing by just about 11 o'clock. I never stop, I'm usually passing by just around 11 o'clock. And if you let me cool you one time, you'll be my regular stop. Alright, boys, I gotta put my banana Dixie cups, all flavors and push-ups too. I'm your ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. See now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy, yes. I'm your ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. I'm your ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by. They say all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy.
And the thing that sets this apart, and I just was thinking about this also, the thing that sets Van Halen apart from all their contemporaries is they swing. And I think some of that was probably the influence of their dad, who was a jazz musician, but Van Halen swings, and that's what gives them, apart from obviously the identity of Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth, but it gives them that a little extra something that sets them apart from the pack. And then the last track, On Fire, where David Lee Roth is just going ape shit on the vocals. He is screaming. I mean, he's no Rob Halford, but I'm telling you, David Lee Roth on this vocals are just amazing. For a debut album, for him to go out there and just leave it all on the studio floor is just incredible. The balls of David Lee Roth are just on full display on this album. It's incredible. On Fire is great. What a way to go out. And holy crap, what an incredible album. So anyway, that's my take on Van Halen 1. Let me know what you think about the debut album. Where does it fall in the discography for you? I've always said it's my favorite Van Halen album. May not be their best. And I know a lot of people are going to say Fair Warning or Women and Children First, but for me, I've always just connected with Van Halen 1. So anyway, that's my take. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and take care.